Hey everyone, it's Mr. Holland again. Wanted to make another video talking some more about doing math at home. And now, when I was growing up, this is something that I could find in my house all the time. My mom would sew, and therefore there were a lot of assortments of buttons and things like that. This is something that I use in my classroom, but I realize that might not be something that you have at home. So if you don't have buttons, maybe there's something else that you can find around the house that are different in shape, color, that kind of thing. Because that's what we're kind of going to be talking about a little bit. But we're also going to get into some adding and subtracting things like that. So I just wanted to give an example. But before I do that, maybe even your child has some toys or things that could be sorted. That's what we're going to start with. But just something that is of the same type. That's in a group, but that can be sorted in different ways. So I wanted to show you a couple of examples of that and then lead into some more advanced stuff. So again, I teach kindergarten, so during the beginning of the year, this is somewhere I would start as a center where I would have kids sort them out however they wanted to, and usually the easiest one to do is color, because that's something that is very primary that they learn, so they might sort things into the same color groups and things like that. But as we get into the year, we start focusing more on, okay, we're learning about shapes, so how can we sort them in the shapes? So you'll have like flower shapes, circle shapes, square shapes, or some of the advanced kids go into quadrilateral, because they put rectangles and things together. So that's where we usually start out the year, and that's kind of the progression as we go forward. The other thing that I like to challenge them with is thinking a little bit outside of that. Since we're looking at these buttons, we can sort them out by color, we can sort them out by shape. What about the holes that are in the middle? Oh, there's 4 holes here, there's 2 holes here. So sorting them out by, how many holes they have, and sometimes there's 1, sometimes there's 2, sometimes there's 4, sometimes there's more. But then also getting into some of the odd shapes that you can have and things like that. So again, if you don't have buttons, it could be something else that's part of a collection that they have that they can sort out by color or shape and things like that. But as they start moving throughout the year, and we start getting into counting out, how many buttons do you have? And this time it doesn't have to do with color, because we're just talking about amount. We might do that to compare sizes. Oh, these ones are small, these ones are medium, these ones are large. And later in the year, we start talking about adding and subtracting. And one of the things, I keep the center usually the same, but I might add some different things to it. And this is one of the things that I add. I think this is something that I probably bought at the Target dollar section. Was a packet of adding and subtracting cards. You could probably find stuff like this at the dollar store as well. But if you don't have this and you're at home, you could easily make this. It's just on a card. If you have index cards or just blank piece of paper, you can write out things like that. But if you just set this with whatever manipulatives that you have, it's something to help engage the students. And we've talked about a little bit about adding and subtracting. We haven't gotten too much into it yet at this point in the year, but the kids know that there's a number we start with and then we add to. So whatever it is, maybe it's maybe you have fuzz balls, or maybe there's stickers, or you can do this with coins. I'm going to do another video about that. But just getting in the practice of, okay, now we have this group of things. Let's start by showing. So, of course, with adding, you start with the first number. I'm actually going to flip to the other side because it starts smaller. So let's just do this one. So we have 5 plus 4 equals whatever. So I have the kids, they could do it whatever. A lot of my students like to do it by color, so they might just pick one color and go, okay, 1 2 3 4 5, and they might call this purple. If I have 5 purple, it's like, okay, well then how many more are you going to get? And the number's 4. So instead of adding 4 more to the same color, what I like to have them do is pick another color, because this shows that there are 2 groups and they make one whole group now. 5 purple plus 4, blue, equals how many? And you'll have students that go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They count all the way up. But as you may have noticed from my other videos, what I like to have them do is to count on. That is a standard that is taught in Ohio, having students count on from any number. So this is a good example of saying, okay, well, we know that there's 5, so let's count on from 5. How many more are we going to get? 4. So we have 5. And then we count on 6, 7, 8, 9. I also call this shortcut counting. It's not really, I don't know that it's a trademark phrase or anything, but I like to call it that so that the students get a better idea of we're doing it faster. We're counting faster. So again, 5 plus 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's one of the things you could do. Once we get into things like subtraction, you don't have to get into this color scheme. Sometimes it's fun for the kids. But let's see, I also have, I have some subtraction here. I do the same thing. So again, you can make something like this if you don't have it at home, if you can't find it at like a store. But like I said, you could probably find something like this at Target or at Dollar General. So what we would do is start with the first number. So what number do we start with first? This one says 11. 11 minus 9. So we're not going to have two groups here. We're not going to have 11 and then 9. We're going to start with 11 as we always do. So I'm just going to pull these back over here because color doesn't really matter at this point. So we have 11 and then it says minus 9. So we're not getting more. Some go away. So we're taking away. So let's take away 9 and see what we're left with. So 11 minus 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so what we're left with, and the students can see, and your children can see that when you had 11 and you take away 9, you're left with how many more? 2. And I tell my kids, we can do this with blocks or Legos or anything like that, but I like to have them leave it there next to the equation. They can write it in if they want to, but it's also good to see this is what is left from this equation. So I just wanted to make this video to give you some ideas. Again, if you don't have buttons at home like I used to when I grew up, it might be something else that you can use. I also have other videos that are made to show you what other manipulatives or things that kids can play with at home and do some of this math stuff with. But if you like my videos, please consider subscribing. It helps other people find my channel a lot easier. And make sure you like the video and tell me what you think. Love you guys. I'll see you guys later.